Welcome to Broad Ideas. We're wearing the same outfit.
That is neat.
That is neat.
What is that from again?
I forget.
We are the same
Step
size.
Brothers?
That is neat.
I don't know. It's something.
Yeah.
It's something. I'm going to just say this. Today on Broad Ideas, we have a family member.
National treasure, if you will.
National treasure. Completely agreed. Scoot McNairy. Sorry.
That's who he is.
That's who he is. That's his name. We go way back with our buddy.
Let's
our buddy
take you
Scooty.
back.
Let's take you back. Let's just start talking to him because he's the best.
Sometimes when the world feels insane, you can take a little peek inside of Rachel's little brain. All these thoughts are swirling round and round inside. So join us on this journey as we take a little ride. We'll talk about dogs and kids and things. We'll talk about chicks and tampon strings. We'll talk about boys that'll make you cry. We'll talk about death, 'cause people die.
Oh my God.
Okay, so just to keep everyone up to date, abreast. Scoot is currently in
my
Rachel's closet collecting items to go through.
It really could be anything.
My favorite is he texts like, I'm going to go into Rachel's closet.
Oh,
Don't
you
tell
knew?
her.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I knew.
Oh my
So then when I saw it, I was like, uh-oh, it's so organized compared to what he was probably expecting.
Oh, that's really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a mess, but I feel like it's less of a mess.
Less of a mess.
Oh my God. I'm dying. Oh my God.
All right.
It'll come up in the middle.
Oh my God. You went many places. Oh my God, I was looking for that.
Perfect. Okay.
Oh.
I'm going to shut this door just because the cleaning.
Okay. Oh my God.
I love this little tea thing. you
Well,
have
electric teapot. Yeah, if anyone needs tea. I don't think we've ever used it in here.
This is already fun.
Golden Girls Lego set.
here. That's great.
Scoot is assessing the bookshelf.
Yes, yeah. And down, I just
What?
down on just one cup a day. Why didn't you serve my coffee in this? It's a long podcast.
I really should have.
I heard a real story about this. My friend was saying that her mom has cut down drinking. And so that she was like, I only have one glass of wine a night. And she went and it was a fucking gauntlet.
Big ass,
like a
like
huge
something
gauntlet.
from like a hotel room or something like that, or a hotel lobby.
Yeah.
you know?
And she was like, are you serious? And she's like, what? One glass a day.
Oh my God.
What do you have there, Scoot?
So when we met, like when I was hanging out with you girls, God, 20
Plus,
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was dating your roommate at
Yes.
the time, Leah, and who was amazing. But after dating for like 3 months, we realized we were such great friends that we were like much better friends than we were ever a couple. And I just remember going to going into your room and seeing your closet, and you had 1.5 foot high of clothes, this high on the ground, that covered the entire closet. There was some stuff hanging or stuffed in there. And I just remember walking in there going, like, how could you find anything? And like, are these clean? Are they dirty? Are they put aside? Are you done with them? I had never seen so many clothes in my life that had just, it was this tall of clothes all throughout the closet. So anyways, I was watching the Bling Ring.
Yeah.
Bling Ring, was it called The Doc? Bling Ring Doc?
Something like that.
I think the movie's
Doc
called The
on
Bling Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was watching the doc, and it was like interesting, the story of these kids from Calabasas. But when it came around to your closet, I was shocked when they had the camera work in the closet, I was like, oh my God, it's so organized.
Like, that's,
you know,
yeah,
and I was
closet.
like, that's so different. And then I thought to myself, did they organize it to shoot this part of it, or like, is this part staged or whatever? So I was thinking I was going to come over here today, look into your closet, and it was surprisingly like organized. But there's items here that like
I'm dead. I'm like,
that
what?
you have so many clothes
So many.
and purses and shoes that there's only 365 days a year.
Right.
You don't change during the day. I don't think so. But you have things that like this still has a price tag on it. Like, do you
Wanna
use the
sell it?
purse? Want to sell it, or do you, when you use the purse, or have you never used the purse? Do you just tuck the price tag in there and just leave it that, or is this like never been used? So tell me
It's
the
never
story
been
behind this
used.
purse.
It's never, that purse is probably, well, it's at least 15 years old.
Really?
15.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
the
look,
tag on it says Barney's, and that
still
doesn't even
got
exist
the-
anymore.
the
Tissue.
tissue in it.
I got really excited because like I was, working. And so I was like, I'm going to buy myself a Celine purse. And it's like probably the least expensive one you can buy.
And you just wanted to get a Celine purse.
Why
to, like,
haven't
put
you
it
ever
in,
used it?
Yeah, like
I don't- you know
when you
what?
bought it, was the thought.
It's a very specific color.
I love the color.
But did you think when you bought it, like, I just want to buy it and then collect it, or do I want to buy it and like, I just want to buy it?
No, I had every intention on using it.
And what happened with that intention?
I think the color really threw me. I'm not much of a color person.
You are attracted to the color, but then when you had the color, you're like, I don't even like this
I'm
color.
not going to wear it.
So it was more
Where else
about
does that show up in your life?
it was more about the process of purchasing it. And then and you mentioned before we started that you were like, oh my God, I was looking for that, which is why
It's
which
okay.
is a running problem with, I'm sure, having too many
Which were
clothes.
you looking for?
Breyer's Christmas beanie.
Oh, I'm glad I found it.
I'm really glad you found it because I thought about it. I'm like, shit,
Are
we need
these-
that.
Oh, I thought these were sleeves.
That's a,
And this is a bow that goes in the back. Have you ever worn this?
no, I have not worn that.
Do you know what's the story behind this
I will,
one?
Yeah.
well, doesn't make me look great, but that was a gift from the designer who I actually love the designer.
Got it.
I just haven't worn it.
You didn't think to like try it on, or
Well, it was,
So, like,
it
be
was
like,
just
oh,
showed up.
it just showed up? Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is really nice and I'm very grateful for.
Okay.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Okay. hold
So
on.
that gets use.
It does, because I did find this thing was attached to
That's
it.
not to that.
It's
What's
not.
that tag say? No, the one in your
The one in your
the-
hand.
This tag says the great
Yeah.
knits.
That is the
Knit.
great.
Yeah, but why? But I've worn that so many times and washed it.
There's
so
two of
they-
them in there. I saw
Oh.
one next to the
It's
other
a
one.
pant,
Oh, the pant.
the matching pant. So that's yes, my fleece.
Because this
the
does look like
great.
it has some wear and tear on it.
Oh yeah, no, I wear
That's
that
something she does wear.
a lot.
Okay, well, let's,
She probably would be
let's
good
not
with
lose
just
this.
that.
Let's not lose this one, because this one gets a lot of use. Breyer's
Christmas beanie.
Christmas thing, which now, because Christmas is only a week away,
Yeah.
she'll be able to
Yes.
to
No, I
utilize
really
it.
was
I won't go.
looking for that.
Where'd you find that?
Yeah. Where did you find that?
Right on top.
Oh,
I want to be clear. I didn't dig for any of these things. They were right there. So if you were looking for it, you
Yeah.
look, but you do not see.
this is fun.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
And then other question is, have you ever worn something twice?
Yes.
The
Any-
great.
Yeah.
All the
great.
great
Yeah.
sweatsuits and things I wear all the time.
So this is like a plug for the great. Like
We live for the great.
the
No,
great is
literally.
your
They
favorite.
all have matching bottoms, so it's like my uniform.
Do you ever wear them together? Or you only wear
Yeah.
them
No, always.
always together? Oh, okay. Does that shirt you have bottoms to it?
No, this is just I'm in my Pilates gear scoop.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pilates.
It's different.
I'm in my Pilates gear too. This is a great sweatshirt.
Oh,
Again,
what are
Those
those?
have a tag. Those
Yes.
are very short shorts.
too short.
They're
Those
too
are really
short.
cute.
Those have a matching little tank top too.
Got it. But
Are you going to wear them?
you ever gonna wear them?
I mean, I haven't yet.
Why? I would wear those.
You know, I feel like you get to a point where like you're a mom and
No.
like how short can you go?
On vacation?
I feel that way as a father.
Yeah.
Do you?
How short
Yeah,
can you
like-
go?
How loose can your tank top really be? You know? At some
Yeah.
point.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Well, do you think that if you see women wearing short shorts?
I don't like, I guess, you're right. If they are like too short, I'm like, those are too short. But I don't really think about it that much if I see someone wearing short shorts until it gets up to the
Butt crack. I mean,
no,
butt cheek.
the cheek. If you see
Yeah.
the line of the cheek, I'm like, maybe for the beach. You
I
know what I
agree.
mean? But I'm not judging.
No.
know what I
I'm
mean?
not
Judge.
judging either, but I do think there's certain times I'll see people that are my age wearing certain length shorts and
Yeah.
I'll go, maybe not.
Maybe not, or maybe for you.
Or maybe, or just, not for me.
Maybe not for me.
Not for
Or
me.
maybe I'll think it's for me and then I'll put it on and be like, not for me.
Not for me. Or very much for me if I'm in Cabo.
Oh,
Yes.
Like if I'm
Somewhere
on
There's a
the
time and a
beach
place.
in
There's
Hawaii.
a time and a place for
Or
sure.
somewhere where you're not going to see anybody that you know,
Yeah.
essentially, which is like your house or like,
Mhm.
so.
I see people that I know in my house all the time, though.
Really?
The people that live with me.
Oh, for sure. Oh, but yes. But I mean, like,
And my
people-
brother now lives with me. So that's like,
your older brother.
yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
I love him. I hadn't seen him. I saw him at Johnny's Christmas party,
Oh,
but
yeah.
hadn't seen
Oh.
him in like a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so scary.
He's so scary and so tender. He's
So
not scary
tender.
at all.
Yeah. No, I
He's
know,
very
but like,
ripped.
God, like somebody you would not want to see in a dark alley.
No.
you
No.
know?
No.
Unless he's with you.
Every kid is so different. I know they're not like dogs, but like, you can be like, well, I got a lab. Like, why isn't my lab retrieving? You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
Like it doesn't, and it's like dogs are just like kids. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're so different from each other and so they can look a little different, but they can act different personalities that like you just, like with a dog, you just never know what you're getting.
What you're getting.
Never
You know
know.
what I mean?
And don't you think it kind of comes baked in?
Like with a circle of life or like the
Whatever
universe.
it is that does the baking, it's like you'll probably experience this because you have 2 children. They come out the way they are.
Yeah.
And then it's like we nurture them as parents and we do all of that kind of wild programming, but they're who they are from day one.
And you can drive them to be this thing or whatever you want, and they'll be kind of that thing,
Little bit.
based of their product of their environment, but whatever they are is going to come out or it's going to be the thing or do the thing and you have no control of it.
No control.
So the thing with kids is you just love them.
You just love
You
him.
just
Give them
love them.
tons and tons of love. And they can have that in their back pocket. I think they'll be good.
I think you're absolutely right.
Have you had to, I want to talk about this because this came up this week. Have you had to punish?
Oh.
And punish the kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's it's letting them know that the thing with punishment is, okay, yes, obviously I think that's parenting. And it's sort of like the form of punishment. So I think for me, it was like, all right, if you do this again, you'll be punished.
Like a consequence.
Yeah, there'll be consequences to
Yeah.
this thing. And these are what the consequences are. And sometimes the consequences can change. If you do it again, I remind them, remember, if you did this thing that I've told you, I just wanted to remind you. On the 3rd time, it's like, all right, I have to follow through with the consequences and the punishment, or they don't learn anything. But I think explaining to them why, instead of just go to your room or you don't get to your devices today, can leave a kid confused on like, well, hold on. My interpretation of what I did was I was only eating a cookie or something because I was starving and there was no other, whatever the scenario is.
Yeah.
So, but do I? No, I mean, I do, but it's by the 3rd time, my kids are pretty good. They don't. I mean, for instance, last night is a perfect example. Hey, you gotta go to sleep.
Right.
Can I just have 5 more minutes to finish this episode? yes, you can. But when that episode's done, turn it off and go up to your room. So 5 minutes goes by,
Right.
nothing happens. 10 minutes goes by, nothing happens. 20 minutes go by. And I said, you got to go up, turn off the TV and go to your room and come here and talk to me. And so she comes in and she's like, what? And I'm like, so from here out, from here out, like when you ask for 5 more minutes on the game or 5, like you're not going to get it.
Right.
What do you mean? I'm like, well, because you asked for this thing and then you don't fulfill it. You don't take the responsibility. So if from now on, I'm going to say, turn off TV now. And we'll try it again in a week or two. But I want to show you that like, if you can't turn off the TV and take the own responsibility of turning it off after 5 minutes, I don't want to oversee you. You know what I mean? I don't want to, micromanage it. Like you got to do it yourself. So I feel like kids, you punish them one time, you take that thing away from the consequence or whatever. They're really like, but it's verbal. It's you talk about it.
You talk. It's about communicating.
So they're not
sure.
confused on why they're in trouble or why they're,
Yeah.
I think.
We'll see.
I mean,
why? How do you do? I mean, like, do you discipline? Rachel's like, I use a wooden spoon, and that works best for me.
It's my kid, she's very unique. She's very sensitive and she never wants to do anything quote unquote wrong, right? So like, but if she doesn't, I have the same thing. Like when this episode's over, you have to turn it off because it's time to go to bed, whatever. And I think it did happen one time. Like, look, if you can't hear me and listen to what I say and show me that you're hearing me and like able to do it, then we're not going to do it again. And then she'll freak out, whatever. And so now she turns it off. Last night was interesting though.
It's like a constant.
It's
Last
constant.
night, well, actually 10 minutes ago.
No, it never stops. I have that book, The Anxious Generation. I haven't read it yet, right? But it's out. And on the cover, Anxious Generation, it's a girl in a ball pit with a phone. And it talks about how this is leading to mental illness or something. It's on the cover. So Briar's like, Mom, why do you have this book? Like automatically, she's like so upset. She's like, I find that book very offensive. What? Yes. She came in the kitchen and I'm like.
And are you not like, I find it offensive that you don't turn off the TV when you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was just interesting. Her take she was also overtired. So if she's overtired, everything is like super sensitive. But she was like questioning me. She's like, why do you have that book? Do you think you need help parenting? Do you think that like I'm doing something wrong and you have to change that? Like she was really questioning. And I was like, look, this is a popular book. Parents are reading. There's certain things they talk about phones. That's why, you don't have one. And we talk about when you do, it'll be a dumb phone. These are all things that are just, she's like, well, because my generation, it's just offensive to my generation. If you think, she was like going on and on.
God, what the sigma?
Yeah, what the sigma? That's right.
But the thing is, you learn how to parent an 8-year-old. And right when you figure it out,
you got
they turn
9-year-old.
9.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, you can't. And then
How
you're
old
like,
are yours?
7 and 11.
Okay.
And it's not like, I remember 7. I got that down.
I got it.
So,
I got
it.
But it's like the kid's totally different.
Yeah.
So you're like, everything I learned with this one at 7 doesn't work at all with this one when they're 7.
Right.
So Elliot is 9 and we still lay with him to go to sleep, right? Did I tell you this?
I don't know.
Oh, man. So I pick him up from school the other day and he's like, Mom, I'm ready to sleep on my own. And I was like, that's amazing. That's great. I'm like, you want us to lay with you and then you want to sleep in your room, like all alone? And he's like, yeah, I don't even need you to lay with me. And I started going, that's a little shady. But it was right after school and he was like, Dad just really snores. And when he holds me, it kind of suffocates me. That I related to. I was like, totally, So he does this for 3 days. He's like, I'm doing it. I'm going to sleep on my own. I go to make his bed and I find his iPad.
Ooh.
I knew it. I knew it.
Meditated.
Yes.
So I was like, and he's not allowed to use it during the weekdays, only on the weekends and when he's like with friends, whatever. So I took it away and I was like, you don't get your iPad this weekend. You don't get it for a whole week, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, we have to go. You got to go brush your teeth. And then he comes out and he's like, I'm like, did you brush your teeth? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, let me smell your breath.
We do that.
He did not brush his teeth. I was like,
He's learning the power of
lie.
the lie.
Yeah.
Power of the lie.
So So then I had to explain to him, I was like, look, you're going to have consequences and I need you to understand them. This isn't me being a jerk. This isn't me just being like, this is what I'm going to do to take a stand. In life, there's consequences. Yep. I was like, your Uncle David took something that wasn't his once. He went to jail. Mm-hmm. That's what's going to happen in the real world.
Yeah, I'm like, that's the scariest thing ever.
Jail.
Yeah.
He's thinking about all the things. I took a cookie.
Yeah.
Can I go to jail for
I'm going to jail.
Yeah. But I was like, there's real life consequences. And if I don't help you understand that, you're going to struggle when you're on your own.
And how did
if you don't get it.
How did he take all that?
He cried and pushed all weekend for his iPad.
I'm sure.
All weekend.
Pushing by like hammering you about it.
Yeah. Crying, pleading, apologize, all of it. And me just being like, my answer's not going to change.
You had to stand firm. Oh, yeah.
And how was, being that he didn't have the iPad, was his, did he change as a person, like during that week? Was he like lighter on his feet, or like in a better mood, or like?
You know what? To be honest, what I loved about it, we played so much Uno. We played so many card games. We were more engaged with each other. And I was like, I love this. Mm-hmm. I think you're wonderful to be around. And if your iPad was here, it's all you kind of think about.
Yeah, the iPad is not for them.
No,
it
it's
is
not.
For us.
Yes.
Right.
It is for us and only for us. And when we need it, we use it. And when we don't need it, we, there's our kids are allowed to be on the iPad until after 4:45.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's like you got to come up from school, decompress, And usually, since we set that 4:45, they get into something else and they never really come back around
to the
iPad.
Yeah.
Henry does sometimes, like, it's like, what time is it?
Yeah.
He's learned to read the clock based on, he didn't know how to read the clock. And now that there's a time limit thing, he's like, I know what the thing is. I know how it works. But you look at the two of their rooms, Henry wakes up every morning, makes his bed, pulls up his thing. It's immaculate.
What?
He's been like this since he was a little kid. He puts things back, he organizes, he turns them on the shelf to make sure that they're right.
I love it.
It's immaculate. His room looks like Rachel's closet.
Yeah.
My girl.
There's just like stuff everywhere. And she's fine with it,
Yeah.
And I'll kind of go in there and pick up. But at the same time, I'm like, I try and leave it and make it. I think it's important for the kids' room to be their space.
Mm-hmm.
And however they want it and they feel comfortable with it to a degree.
That's hard.
It is, especially for someone who's OCD and that like wants to clean it up, but it's like, no, just let her have her space, her space. My parents were like that. Your room was your room.
That's nice.
You could do whatever you wanted to the walls, hang stuff on it, shoe polish the thing. I Sharpied my toilet,
Yeah.
You could do whatever you wanted to, but the rest of the house was not. It was a shared space.
I was the same.
That you had.
My mom was the same.
Yeah.
Right on the wall, everything, draw, whatever.
This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar. So a lot of you know I start my mornings really early to go to the gym. And the way I do this is IQ Joe, jitter-free coffee that has natural caffeine. It boosts my focus and my mood with magnesium and lion's mane blend. I love it. It gives me the perfect get up and go to get out the door. Start the new year off right with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, mushroom coffees. Their ultimate sample pack includes all three. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our podcast listeners an exclusive deal, 20% off of IQ Bar products. Plus, get free shipping.
Start each day right with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Their ultimate sampler pack includes all three. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our podcast listeners an exclusive deal, 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus get free shipping. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus get free shipping. To get your 20% off, just text IDEAS to 64,000. Text IDEAS to 64,000. That's IDEAS to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See term for details.
Broad Ideas is sponsored by BetterHelp. What do you want your 2025 story to be? Because every January brings you 365 days of blank pages, and they're just waiting for you to fill them in. So what do you want this year to be about? Do you need a plot twist? Maybe there's a part of your story that you've been wanting to revise. I personally do not believe that life is about making resolutions that fade by February. It's really about picking up the pen and becoming the author of your own life. And I like to think of therapy as an editorial partner, helping you write the new chapters, create the meaningful stories that you actually deserve to live. I can speak from experience of being in therapy over the past 15 years. That's exactly what it's done for me. It's helping me and helps me rewrite my stories. Write your story with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/ideas to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ideas. I guess mine was the same, but it was a little different.
Or maybe you were like hesitant to write on the wall.
No. I mean, I didn't care to write on the wall.
Yeah.
Like I think my house was she was very lenient, but I was the third. So it was
the
more.
Third.
Yeah, I was the third.
The third.
Yeah. That's different.
Yeah.
Where do you fall?
Second out of 4.
Yeah.
So I was like not dismissed intentionally. I was
I don't mean to laugh
I was
at
left
that.
to my own devices.
Right.
My little brother was 3 years younger than me. My little sister was 7 years younger than me. So they were so involved with dealing with them.
Yeah.
Which is a blessing looking back on it. It was really tough probably growing up, but it made me so independent and so learned to do everything for myself. And I had ADHD and dyslexia as a kid. So one thing my parents were so great about is and my daughter has it as well. So she can't sleep. She's going, her motor's running at night. And I've just recently in the last probably year, and Sosie brought this to our attention, is that let her stay up. Let her stay up. She can't be on a device staying up, but if she wants to draw or read or play the piano or go mess with her violin, that she can. And my parents did that. They said you can stay in the garage, because I had a toolbox out there that I would mess with things and take apart things or what, I don't know, just going through my grandfather gave me all these tools. He was he worked for the U.S. Navy Air Force, like working on the planes and stuff. So he had all these tools that I was like, what does this even do? Like, what's this tool even for? They allowed me to stay in the garage till as late as I want, as long as I kept the garage door closed. And I just remember being in there, which later led to me like smoking cigarettes in there. And I used to like go smoke cigarettes. But I remember that was like that part of my childhood was so memorable to have my own space and come in whenever I wanted. And so I'm trying to like, I think for maybe ADHD, it's important for kids to be able to explore and let their brain wander.
Yeah.
Instead of having their brain sort of controlled or compressed.
Right. So you've noticed a difference since you've allowed her the freedom to.
Big time.
Yeah.
And she goes to bed on her own. And the thing is, it's like you can stay up as late as you want. You know what I mean? But you just have to come down at 7:10 in the morning.
You still have to be up for school.
I'll wake you up. She has an alarm, but I'll wake her, and she does. She gets up.
Did she get the dyslexia too, or?
No.
Okay.
We did the testing and all that stuff, and it was just ADHD. But I mean, I think she's much more ADHD than me, because she'll go upstairs and it's like every single time that she goes to anywhere, it's just time just.
Yeah.
And it's like, Lulu, come on. She's like, I'm sorry. And she's always like, and I'm trying to be like more patient with it, because
it's hard.
It's true. Like I know that feeling. It's not as intense, but she just, it's like, what are you doing up there? She's like, I don't know. And I'm like, you went to go get your shoes and socks. Oh yeah. Right. Okay. Where are they? They're right in front of your face,
Yeah.
I will say, like, I find most kids get distracted, right? And so it's like differentiating, obviously you do the testing or whatever, like if they actually do have ADHD, or like how much of it is just like a
Being a
child.
kid.
Because then you like consider like, I don't know, my daughter gets super distracted. Like, is it that? Or is it just,
Yeah.
you know, because I do too. Where
I think she has ADHD.
she always tells me she
Like
thinks
I
do.
could put my money on it.
Some form. I think there's like 50% of people
Right, yeah.
have
Some form of it. Yeah.
It's such. They call it a spectrum because
Yeah.
it's like, can you be way over here? Like, and I think everybody falls somewhere.
For sure.
Some spectrum-y,
Right.
ADHD, just, you know.
I want to know because I suffered from dyslexia and still do, but
Not suffer.
Not
it's
suffer.
a gift.
It's a gift.
Yes.
I don't suffer. I did suffer in school because I hid it.
Sure. Or in the schools back then too didn't
They didn't know how
acknowledge
to support
it.
it.
you
Yeah,
know?
I just thought I was stupid.
I know that feeling.
And so when people would say it's time for you to share or raise your hand to read, I would fake a stomach ache. I would leave the classroom.
Right.
So then when I started acting, I would get so paranoid about having to read in front of people. How did you deal with that?
I the same paranoia. I still have it.
You do? I like to hear that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It sounds like such a dumb thing to bring up about acting. But it's the memorization of lines.
Yeah.
It's like, if I have these lines, and not memorized, like memorized, like your tongue is a muscle movement, a muscle memory from saying it so many times that you can have your brain completely somewhere else while you're saying the lines because the muscle memory of the tongue has said them, you know them so well.
Yeah.
That if I don't get to that place with the dialogue, I have major anxiety. And someone's like, well, but you know the lines. I'm like, I know the lines, but I'm thinking about what the lines are. That memorization thing was, I learned this about myself probably 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
Like after, not like at the beginning of it, it was more of like, I had to know these lines not so well. It's like, it's beyond so well.
Right.
Like meaning like I'm talking right now, but I'm thinking about what's going on over there. I'm thinking about what I got to do later. I'm thinking about so many other things, but the lines are coming out.
I love that. Yeah.
Perfect example. We did a play together.
We did.
Which was amazing. And we had so much fun doing it. And Max was like, because we had a big chunk of the play before your character came in. It was just the three of us. There was so much of that I wanted to rehearse. And looking back on it, it was more for me than it was for Max. But Max was like just not like memorizing the lines. You know what I mean?
Love that.
He's amazing.
Yes.
And I remember like being so frustrated because I was like, all right, let's run it again. Let's run it again. Let's run it again. And every day, and Max was kind of like, oh, he was just like, you know.
He's like, I got it.
Like, yeah, and he'd run like, 2 pages and then he'd kind of drift off to do something else. And I was like, no, we need to run the whole first act,
Yeah.
And then opening night, Max knows every line.
Yeah.
He's killing it. Everyone's dying laughing. And I'm like in shock on stage, like looking at him going, where is this coming from? And for me, it was like, I really needed to know those lines to get to a place that actually had come naturally for Max. So Max clearly he was like, I know him. Like, do we have to keep running it? You know what I mean? Like, do we have to keep running it over and over? This is really boring. But that was my process of me trying to get to a place, unbeknownst that I didn't know that Max was already in that place.
It's so wild.
Wow.
I remember that Teddy, the guy who directed us, Teddy Sanders would have us. I remember we went to the beach.
I remember
we
this.
stayed at Max's dad's. We went to the beach and he would just have us walk the lines up and down the beach. And I remember being like, I don't know if this is necessary. Like, I think we know the lines, but the way that ended up showing up on stage was so useful to the point where, like you said, then we could just live. It wasn't something we had to think about anymore because it was so beaten in.
Yeah.
Like a drill sergeant almost.
Literally.
I remember him being like, another lap. And we were like,
yeah, and he would do this thing where, like, don't say anything. Just move in these lines. You have to stay in this line. If you're feeling Olivia's energy, you can either move like parallel closer to her, and if you're feeling her energy in a certain way, you can move further away from her. And we would just, and I was like, what the hell are we doing? This is ridiculous. And then you find yourself on stage, like when the doorbell rings and you move back, and then Max moved back, and then I moved back further from Max, and I was like, okay, all these things are, I learned a lot doing that play.
So did I. Like that was one of the best experiences of my life. Speaking of which, Max left a voice note.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I
haven't listened to it, so this will be...
I just spoke with him, or texted with him yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's coming in for the holiday.
Aw.
Let's hear what he has to say.
Hi, I'm Megs, and I've been a close friend of Scoot's for many years.
Oh, God.
And one of the things I think that's always impressed me about Scoot is his competence. I think that's one of the things that drew me to him as a friend, his willingness to just throw himself into things. If he doesn't know how to do it, he'll learn how to do it on the fly. And most things it seems like he knows how to do, be it build a house or, race a motorcycle.
Oh, you have to keep it.
Oh, no, you have to keep it open.
Yeah.
Hold on, now it's going to be...
That's his
Hold on. I don't have that confidence.
willingness to just throw himself into things.
You have to hear it again.
Learn how to do it on the fly, and most things it seems like he knows how to do. Be it build a house or, race a motorcycle or act in a movie. And that's how he approached his auditioning. He just threw himself into it. He represented himself as his, an agent with a fake accent, and meeting with every casting director and go to every possible audition he could go to in a day. And somehow he's just been able to externalize his energy and focus with this relentlessness that is very, I think, rare and admirable. It seems like he only pauses when he sleeps, and if he's up, he's on his feet and he's, cleaning the house or painting something or, getting something done. And he's always been that way, right? He started his lawn mowing business when he was a kid and took over the town, and that led to another business.
Can't believe he's actually listened to me when I was running my mouth.
Just somehow a relentless capacity to just kind of do what he sets his mind to. And that's my testimony. And I don't think he knows how he does it. And he'll tell you probably that he doesn't know how to do it. Or how he does it, but somehow, that's just his gift. And that's my testimony. And I'm proud to speak it. So there you have it.
Support comes from JLo Beauty.
Let's talk skincare for a moment. Do me a favor. If you're at home, go into your bathroom and count how many skincare products you have. I did, and I've got like 30, 35, something like that. I don't remember what half of them do, and I don't love the way they all look hodgepodged on my counter. So it's a little much, right? But what if I told you all you really need is 5 that you would proudly display on your vanity? Well, guess what? JLo Beauty has made that. And it's all you need for radiant and glowing skin. I love it. I really do. It's such a relief because, to be honest, I started watching all these videos. Some of these girls were doing like 13 to 19 step routines before bed. And I would watch them. And by the time I was done, I would wash my face maybe once a week because I'd be so overwhelmed with what I thought I needed to do that I literally stopped washing my face. True story. I know that's gross, but it's the truth. Oh my God. One more thing. Have you guys seen these memes that are going around of guys versus girls washing their faces? It's hilarious. The guys are like so aggressive, and the girls are doing their 3,000 step routine before bed. it just made me think, like, does it have to be that complicated? Because I look at my husband who washes his face with the same bar of soap as his feet. And I'm not saying I want to do that because it dries out my skin and then I look really bad. But I did realize it doesn't have to be that complicated. So I was so relieved by JLo Beauty's simple, hardworking skincare routine. It just makes sense, especially for my life. And what I really love is that Blockbuster hydrating cream. My skin is so much more plump and dewy. And I see why 100% of the people from an 8-week clinical study who tried it had smoother skin. Also, I just love the container. It's just radiant and it's beautiful. And I love leaving my JLo Deluxe kit out on my dresser. It's on display, super chic, super cute, and yet it's actually affordable. Get the only skincare routine that you'll ever need. Head to jlobeauty.com/broadideas to receive 20% off plus 3 free limited time offer gifts. Head to jlobeauty.com/broadideas for 20% off and 3 free limited time offer gifts. That's a $175 value. jlobeauty.com/broadideas.
That was so
That's so
sweet.
kind, and I love Max.
We're just
After we
squirming
did
over
the
there.
play, like we became roommates.
Yeah.
You know, and the relationship of Dennis and Warren, like, just kept going on right into the house. Like
The
there
play
was,
was this was
this is our youth.
yes,
Yeah.
And so Dennis is sort of the dominating character over Warren, and of Warren's sort of lost, and Dennis thinks that he knows everything, you know. And so that relationship just continued after the play as roommates. I think we were roommates for about 4 years or something after that. He's one of the best roommates I ever had. But touching on what he's speaking of, the only thing I can chalk it up to or calculate it to would be, which I think I've maybe so recognized in other people that I've not understood, is the sense of like failure.
Mm-hmm.
And like failures, or my relationship to failure
Mm-hmm.
is not something that's ever really been thought about. Like I don't think about failure, and I don't know where I don't know where it really came from. I can think or say this, and I don't think that it's probably correct, but I think growing up with learning differences,
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of, and growing up with learning differences in the 80s and 90s, when it wasn't sort of looked at as you were looked at as being stupid.
Right.
You know,
Right.
until you went to a school, which my parents were so grateful enough to send me to the Shelton School of Dallas, which was one of the first and one of the best, and still to this day, one of the best of its kind for dyslexia. That there's a sense of like, you're gonna fail. You're a failure in life, and you're stupid and you're dumb. That when you start from that place,
Wow.
and everything in your life, you're expected to fail, or you assume that society thinks that you're a failure. So you don't have anything to lose. And so everything, I think, from that pinpoint of 2nd or 3rd grade, when I was diagnosed and then put in with this school with these other kids, that we were, they didn't teach this to us and say that you're a failure or anything, but there's a certain sense that you felt like you were like different. Like, why can't I go to school with all my other buddies? You know what I mean? So I must be a failure, or I must be stupid. That has actually probably been like when an audition went bad, I was like, who gives a shit? I could care. There was no like, oh my God, I'm a failure. I was already a failure before I went to the audition. There was already a failure.
Yeah.
You already sucked. So like, if you left sucking, nothing had changed. So I never.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it was like starting the lawn business. When I was such a kid, there was no. Again, I think that would probably be it. I don't need to talk so much about it, but is that if you're starting from a place of rock bottom or being at the bottom, you have nothing to lose. And I would see it with other people, like they wouldn't get this job or they would go test for this thing and then they'd not get it and they'd just go, oh, and they would just be so bummed and like I got hide or go into I don't want to see anybody. I never had that.
Wow.
I cared. I totally cared because I love what I wanted to. I love what I was doing and I wanted to do more of it. But the failure part was like I was expected to fail, so
it didn't land the same.
Didn't care.
Wow.
That is the perfect example of how, and I'm very sensitive to this because Shepherd has all kinds of stuff. But the way I've seen him compensate and the way he's able to win people over without language, without all of these different things that we think we rely upon as typical humans, those other sides really expand the parts that we as typical people can't touch. And
those strengths are in him are going to be so stronger than anybody else, even if they tried to build up on those strengths. Your son, he will. Those will be so much stronger. And kids are resilient, and they're resilient, and they're almost like bulletproof. You know that if they will figure it out. It's like a dog that they're like, oh my gosh, my dog's gonna lose its leg. Yeah, and they lose their leg, and they continue on as if they have 4 legs. You know.
Don't you find that fascinating? I find it fascinating that one, you started in that place, that those things didn't land in you, because what I see a lot of times and what I identify with what I did was when you start out different or less than in any way, what I did is I took those accolades or those yeses to mean I was good enough. And every time I didn't get them, I would be back in the pain because I'd be like, see, I knew it.
You still do that.
I know.
I take those as lie, like no, there's not truth in them.
Which is beautiful.
You know, like, oh, you're really great. And they're saying, whatever, they're just saying that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like, I'm not good with compliments. And I think that's probably, I'm sort of realizing this while we're talking, that's probably why, is because I just don't believe them. I believe they're things that are just being said. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I get that.
And part of that's good is not to drink your own Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? Maybe, I don't know. But I mean, when Sosie says that, she's like, you do not like to be complimented. And I was like, I don't. But I don't know why I don't like to be.
Do you not buy it?
I'm thinking maybe it's just because I don't know. Maybe it's, I just don't buy it because you're so ingrained in your head that you're a failure.
Right. Yes.
You know what I mean?
We've talked about with liking guys. I never liked guys that liked me.
Right.
Because I was like, that's gross. Like, I don't trust you because you don't see how fucked up I am. Right. I don't trust you now.
Interesting.
I know.
Do you feel that way?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's that I don't trust them. It's a little different. But I do relate. Like if they're...
Well, what is it? Meaning like you're like, I don't know if it's I don't trust them. What is it? And have you always felt like this way since you were in elementary school?
I think so. Yeah.
I used to change my clothes to make myself unattractive if a guy liked me.
Interesting.
That's very extreme. I was not like that.
And then I did it, and I wore this yellow vest and this shirt, and I
was
like,
they thought you were cuter.
And he was like, I love your style. And I went in the bathroom and cried. I was like, I hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
So extreme.
And was it a need or a feeling to be different? Or it was a need or a feeling to trying to express yourself to be like, were you trying to express that I am fucked up.
No, I hid it. So the guys that didn't like me, I was like, I like him. He gets it.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Where it comes from though, because like I'm thinking about it, and if they liked me, maybe I was so used to like my dad was around but not around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like it has to do with that, because like then you associate love with like
absence.
Yeah.
But my dad
or disinterest.
My dad wasn't really around. Same, but like, do you think that you? Like meaning, like he was around, like he was there.
Yeah.
He was, you know, he was there, but he wasn't like, we didn't really have like, we have like a father-son talk that was like, this is, you know, life and this is how you do. But he wasn't like as involved. Was your dad the same way? Like he was there, but he wouldn't.
He was like working a lot, you know.
9 to 5-er. He was a writer.
He was a bit. So he would, if he was off shooting, you know, he also wasn't the best to my mom, like affairs and all of it. So
there's a lot of
like,
swirling tension or emotions.
Yeah, I think I grew up around that, even if I wasn't aware of what was actually going on at the time. Obviously, subconsciously or whatever, like it definitely
you could pick up on the vibe.
and it seeps in, and you know.
And do you feel like you have a good sort of relationship to a partner or men or the people you date, or do you feel like that there's a certain familiarity to that?
Unavailability?
Yes. Like
100%.
That almost like if they're unavailable, then that feels normal and natural.
Yeah.
And feels comfortable to you.
Absolutely. But then there's the other where I have gotten into things where it's like a love bombing situation where it's so intense, and then I'm like, okay, fine, like I believe it. And then they're so fucked up. They're like, you know, so it's like this weird thing. There's never been like I don't want to say never, but it isn't common that there's like the perfect middle. But I don't know if it exists.
Well, I don't,
you know what I mean?
Like, we all have our shortcomings,
yeah,
you know?
Perfect, you can't use that word.
Yeah.
It's just like the right partner.
Yeah.
You go to therapy?
Yeah.
You go to therapy?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Is this something that you have talked about to try and excavate or get down to the bottom? And if so, is it a continuous conversation that you really never arrive at some sort of solution? I mean, is there something you've learned about yourself from doing therapy that you're like, or do you just learn that it's fucked up?
Well, no, I mean, it's more so I learned the most from Olivia, who's just like constantly, every day, whatever. And I did just start with a new therapist who specializes in EMDR, which I'm just starting to touch on, which I think will be really helpful.
That's the
tapping and
got it. I think
the memories.
Sosie was gonna like get into this.
Yeah. So I've just like I'm starting to like dip my toes into it. So I can't like speak on it too much, but it's very interesting, and I think the whole philosophy behind it is really interesting, and I think it will be helpful regardless. So I might have more answers after that.
Maybe.
And how long have y'all been in therapy?
Like in general?
Like when did you like find like a good therapist that you stuck with and you were with for like years?
Well, her husband recommended his to me, and so I was with her for like 3 years, and then she retired. So
on both my best friend and husband at the same time.
Yeah, it was rough.
And you've been in therapy
for like 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And did your sobriety come out of the therapy?
I didn't start going to therapy until I got sober, because I was so afraid to go to therapy before that, because I knew they would tell me to get sober.
And you were scared of getting sober because you were like, I didn't want to face these feelings.
I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to go to therapy because I was like, I know they're going to get to the real thing, and I just
You're not ready to face the real thing.
Yeah.
And did they get to the real thing?
I didn't go until I got sober. I got sober first and then went to therapy.
And then once you got sober and went to therapy, did they get to the real thing?
I've been trying to get to the real thing.
Still trying to get down to the root.
I think it's a work in progress. I ended up doing like a 2-year master program in psychology.
Okay.
And so that's where I met Jeff, getting to the thing.
No way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Spiritual
therapy's
psychology.
like an onion. Like,
yes.
You're never going to get down to the bottom, but you can at least, peel around it.
Yeah.
For sure.
I was just telling this story the other day of like, Jeff was the first person the first guy to ever been honest with.
Interesting.
Like he was the first person that I was like, I'm deeply insecure and I want a partner and I want that. Like, I just like said all the things.
And what was it about Jeff that you were like, is there a certain thing that he said or did, or was it an aura about him that made it feel safe or comfortable to do that?
I was done doing what I had done. And so I had already hit my knees with it, and we met like in a process. I'd never spoken to him. And they were like, what do you want to work on? And I remember thinking he was attractive, and I almost hit it and was like, pick something else, you know? But I was like, no, I'm going to be honest. And I was like, I want a partner. Like, I want a relationship. These are all the things I think are wrong with me. So we had never even spoke, and he spoke, and he got to hear every deepest, darkest fear, insecurity, pain, all of it. And I was just like, blah. And then I looked over and he looked at me and he's like, I think you're an amazing human.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, but then I had to chase him for a little bit.
There was,
of course.
You know what I mean?
He didn't come easy.
No.
You say that like, no.
Because
he did not.
Because it wasn't easy.
No,
but
she had to walk away, right?
I had to break up with him twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, to show him?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
because he didn't know what he wanted.
Oh, got it. It was sort of
Yeah.
that.
So she was like,
Sure.
fuck that.
Got
Yeah.
it. Got
So
it.
I was like, I'll walk.
And you had confidence. You had built up that
yourself.
confidence of self that you were able
picked
to
myself.
Yeah.
I was like, I am willing, like, I choose me and this isn't enough for me.
Mm.
And then, of course, he was like, you know what's crazy? So I watched Complete Unknown.
Oh.
Amazing. And I have since been listening to Bob Dylan nonstop. I can't stop. It's like,
You know, me as well. Those songs, I'll get to
those
that, but finish your
songs.
thought.
So, you know the line where he says, and it ain't me, babe, that you want someone to close your eyes for you, someone to close your heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt my whole life. I wanted that. And then I looked at Jeff this morning and I was like, oh my God, I found someone to close his eyes for me and close his heart, meaning to other people.
Sure.
And
Aw.
it made me so emotional and grateful today.
Did you tell him this?
I did him a favor.
Oh.
You
What?
did tell
You
him.
gave him a hand job?
I did.
I know.
He's like,
He was like,
I don't know where that came from, but I must have done
You're like, you
something right.
closed your heart for me, babe. Tug.
He's like, the Bob Dylan song comes on, like things around this house change.
Amazing.
I think that one thing in watching that movie that I don't know, but potentially it can identify with is that whether you're 27, 28, 30, or 60, or 55, or 45, everybody discovered Bob between 13 years old and like 22, 23, like college, into college.
Mhm.
And when you watch the movie and you hear all those songs coming back to you, it doesn't matter how old you are, it immediately takes you back to the time when you discovered them.
Yep.
And so it takes every viewer back to this place where they were when they were a teen. You know, and I feel like in watching the film, and Sosie's mom said that, you know what I mean? She was like, God, I just felt like those songs just meant so much more to me. And it was really impactful to see the movie and hear them. And I was like, what is that psychology? And obviously the younger generation's discovering them. And then Sosie said something to me like, oh, when we were in college, like everybody was Bob Dylan this. And I was like, well, Bob's music had been out for years. Like, and you realize that everybody sort of discovered that around the
That
same age.
age.
Yeah.
That's so
You know, my
interesting.
household, I will say the one thing about my dad was always playing all that music.
Uh-huh.
Growing up, and my parents' wedding song was Bob Dylan's version of Forever Young. Right?
Did he
Didn't he cover that? It was that,
I don't know
right?
if he either covered
don't
it or
know.
wrote it.
Did he
'Cause
write it?
Rod Stewart covered it, Forever Young, but I don't know. I
Did
know
Neil
that he
Young
was.
do a
Oh, I think
version?
maybe is. I don't know.
See,
I want to
I
say
should-
maybe it is Neil Young that
I think
is
it
the
was-
original author.
I think Neil Young.
Yeah.
I think. But I feel like Bob Dylan does sing it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Doesn't he?
Yeah. listen to us.
Listen to us.
Yeah,
This is-
I don't know.
What we're
I don't
talking
know.
Like,
about.
I don't know.
Let's
Marilyn
talk more
Manson.
about
Didn't
Bob.
he cover that?
Yeah.
You know?
But those songs,
Yeah.
like it just owns such a part of so many people's insides
Mhm.
in a way that I don't
There's
know.
never a poet like there was never a
No.
musical poet
No, right.
like
Right.
him. And so when you hear those songs, there is a poetry to them that you're discovering that you don't discover from really any other musician. I mean, Jeff Tweedy from Wilco
Mhm.
touches on it. He's an incredible songwriter, but even and he's probably I feel like somebody who's got pretty close to it of really touching into this sort of poetic music that you can still identify with and hear it and relate to it, but it's poetry. But Bob was like the first and the best. And his, I mean, geez, it's been so long and his music still lives on through generation to generation to generation.
It really, I know.
It holds up so well. Like that's all I've listened to for the past like few days. I'm like, I don't even want to listen to anything else.
But you can always listen to Bob Dylan. Let's
100%.
And
Yeah.
my manager's son, he came to the premiere. He's like he's an incredible musician, and now he's like going to film school and a great filmmaker. And he said the same thing. He came home after the thing, and that's all he's been doing is on the guitar, is playing these things. And I was like, man, that reminds me of like of being a kid, like when you see a movie that's so impactful to you. And this doesn't happen when you get older and watch films, which I really miss was like when I watched Rocky and like I went home and I like genuinely trained every day after school of like, for like 2 weeks or something. And then, slowly it disappears. Back to the Future, I started wearing suspenders, and like trying to hold on to the back of cars and like how these films can have such an impact on you. And they can emotionally now, but you don't do external things. Like you have the feeling of like, oh, that movie really hit me. But I'm not going to go act it out. I'm too old and grown up for that.
I might. I might go start playing the guitar and writing poetry.
You should have heard what she was saying this morning. We were about the movie.
She goes, did you like it? And I said, I want to like leave and like go travel the world, go write songs. Yes.
That's what she was saying.
Young.
Like,
You
20s,
know, like it woke that part of me. I was like, oh, all of this is still here. And that's what that movie hit on for me. And I was like, none of that was in the movie. Do you know what I mean?
You're like, I want to, right? You're like, what movie did you watch?
Oh my God.
But it just wakes up that
You're like,
side.
I want to go to space and really, go see Mars. It's like, I didn't do any of those things.
That's why I was like, I'm not spoiling it. None of that was in the movie.
Yeah.
So don't worry.
Oh my God.
It's just fun to have that
feeling.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, it was
And everybody in it was absolutely incredible.
Oh my God. Timmy was phenomenal.
He was phenomenal.
Ed Norton.
Who's Ed in the movie?
I thought you were like, who's Ed Norton?
We're so used to seeing him sort of play these dominant characters, and to have the consistency of him playing this sort of weaker, or like, I don't know if lesser is the word, character, tender and stay with it. And the way he was, and the whole monologue that he had about everybody's got their cup of spoon and they bring their sand, and eventually, and you brought a whole, I mean, he really draws you into that feeling. And it was one of my favorite performances that I've ever seen Ed Norton do. And I'm a huge fan of his. To be able to work with him too was like a big bucket list check off. But to see Timmy, he recorded all that stuff live on set. And so awesome. He's playing those songs and taking his own beats to keep a verse going.
Wow.
And each time he did his take, he changed it up, and it's all real. He spent a lot of time working on that, and he, I mean, he's a movie star.
The beautiful part about it is there wasn't a single comment on that. He wasn't commenting on a character at all. There was no caricature.
Yeah.
There wasn't an ounce of that.
Yeah.
Like, you totally got lost in it with him. You weren't like, oh, this guy's playing Bob Dylan.
It's interesting you say that. James Mangold had mentioned to me, the filmmaker, well, I guess when he was doing Johnny Cash, he was like, to Joaquin, he's like, you're not Johnny Cash. Like, you're not him. So don't try and be him. You know what I mean? Like, take all this that you've learned and know and everything, and then just do it. But you're not Johnny Cash, and you'll never be Johnny Cash, you know? And I don't know if that's something he sort of, but I like carried on to Timothy.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was just telling me a story, but it was something that I sort of took on as an actor, that like, you can do all this research and study these characters as much as you can, but there's a certain sense of self that you don't want to lose,
Right.
because we want to see Ed Norton play him.
Right.
With some Ed Norton in him.
Right.
Like, we want to see Johnny Depp be, you know, whatever, Whitey Bulger.
Yeah.
But we want to see Johnny Depp be Whitey Bulger, not
I feel like he speaks to that a lot too, about keeping yourself in the characters.
He does. I think he says there's 50% of me in every character that I do. You know?
That's what I feel like he delivered that completely. I wasn't at all like, oh, he's doing a good job playing Bob Dylan. It's like you forget he's playing Bob Dylan.
Elle Fanning, like, she was incredible. And Monica, you know.
Love her.
Yeah, her voice was amazing. I mean, everybody in the movie just did they just did a really good job. And Boyd Holbrook, Johnny Cash, you know, he came into the trailer, and I know Boyd for 20 years. I hadn't seen him in a really long time. And he came into the trailer, and he had this prosthetic nose on with these brown contacts, and his hair had been done brown. And he came to me, he was like, hey, Scoot, how's it going? And I was like,
who's
hey,
this guy?
Man, like, like, who's, like, and it took me a good 60 seconds, 2 minutes to be like, oh, fuck, dude, that's Boyd.
Wow.
Like, wow, he looks so different in the movie, and he did such a great job as well.
What was that like for you? I mean, because that's a different role that most people, I mean, you didn't, I don't know what I can say and what I can't, but you just say what that was like for you.
It was hard. It was, I thought it was not going to be hard because I didn't have any lines in the movie, but it turned out to be like so much more difficult than I had thought it was going to be. I didn't want to play a caricature. All I had to go off of was this books of him at Greystone in the end of his life. And when he couldn't like speak, and there's all these photographs of him like smoking and trying to play the guitar, that I just sort of went through photographs of him and tried to take mannerisms from the photographs. But in looking into, like, people are like, what'd you learn about Woody? I'm like, not very much. Like, I wasn't going to study his whole entire life because I wasn't going to be able to portray any of that in the film. He had Huntington's disease. And so what I mostly did was a ton of research on Huntington's disease.
Sure. Yeah.
And what I found is it to be very similar to a little bit of Parkinson's, like lack of motor skills, and then also dementia or Alzheimer's. And my mom has dementia. And so a lot of that is me sort of emulating my mom, of like this lost sort of look on her face of being there, but not there.
Wow.
And so, that's all I had. And James Mangold, you know, he was great, and I've been wanting to work with him for so long. But he's very specific. So there was a lot of, stop moving your fucking head. You know, it's like, all right, you know what I mean? And you're like in there trying to do the thing. Yeah. And he's on it. So like, he was very helpful to be.
He was right though.
He was right.
The way it comes out
right.
is so, I thought the same thing about your performance as Timothy's. I was like, there's not a comment on any of this.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't one moment where I think in a lot of people's hands or a different director, whatever, that could have been very overacted.
Totally.
And the fact, like the stillness and the just freedom in that stillness was remarkable. So he was right.
Yeah, no, I don't mind like being Texas football coach. You know what I mean? I like when someone's really hard on you when they're right and they're like they're right and I want to get it right. And so like I don't, you can yell at me, push me, kick me, like whatever you got to do, because if you're right, if you're not right, it's like fuck you, get away from me.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But yeah, James is an incredible filmmaker, down to Girl Interrupted, to Ford versus Ferrari, to the Johnny Cash story. I mean, he's just made some really epic stories. So I was stoked to work with him. Yeah.
I mean, like you said, like bucket list check off.
Yes.
James
Mangold, by hands down. I was like, dude, I'll hold your coffee. I just want to get on set with you and see like what you're like, or how you talk to actors, or how you cover scene. You know what I mean? I'm always fascinated with the. Obviously, you want to work with the filmmaker because they make great movies, or they make movies that you like. You know, not necessarily for everybody, but I'm always fascinated by like how they do something. You know what I mean? And you don't know until you get on set and get to watch. And so much of me like sort of trying to work with certain filmmakers, it is like, oh, I love a part in the movie and I'll take a small part or a big part, but what I really want is to just get on set with you to watch you. And so I'll hold your coffee. If you'll let me on set, I'll do this. If you'll let me on set, I want to see how you accomplish what you accomplish. If you're very overbearing to your actors, if you're how you treat them, like how you get into their minds. Like, you know, some directors are really soft and they talk to you really quietly in your ear, and some of them yell at you from the monitor, you know what I mean? And each one does something different to get something different out of each individual. So I've always been fascinated, like, how did they do that? Or, you know, how did this, you know, Last King of Scotland, like, how did he get Forrest Whitaker to do that? Like, I'm really, I want to work and see what the mechanics are of that. You know,
it goes back to that kid in the garage taking it apart and
I want to know how it works. You know,
do you think you'll direct?
Well, yeah, I feel that's 100% for the last 15 years is all I've been doing. Is like, I want to work with filmmakers that I like their movies to see what they do, to figure out like how I'm going to be. And, you know, like acting, you see an actor do something, you get your toolbox of stuff to pull from. I'm just building a toolbox of things to pull from filmmakers. Yeah. You know,
are you going to have them run down the beach?
I will. I probably will. I mean, again, I learned a lot from Teddy Sanders.
I did too. He used to make us lay down before the show, and he would have us breathe into our genitals. And I remember inside I would laugh, you know, and be like, what am I doing? You know? But then by like night whatever, I'd be ready for my, like, take us through it. You know what I mean? And I'd be like, oh, time to breathe into the, like.
Breathe into your asshole.
Yeah.
Breathe out through your asshole. And then you go, ooh. Like,
oh my God, I have to pee. I can't laugh, you guys.
Have you ever had a director ask you to breathe
through my asshole? I mean, they've asked me to show my asshole.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Rachel Sarah Bilson.
I'm joking. Just kidding.
Oh my God.
No.
That's crazy.
I mean, yeah. It's always interesting. Well, let's not
like. What does the director really ask you to be like? Show you? Oh, okay, God. I was like, what? It's inappropriate in this day and age.
I know. No.
Could you imagine?
I did turn down a cover of. It would have been really cool.
Asshole
you guys.
magazine.
What was it?
It was like, you know, Porn Central. No, the cover of Rolling Stone. They wanted me to show my bare ass, and I said no.
Well, can you go back to them?
I know. I'm like, listen,
I think
this was 20 years ago.
Older, you're more willing to share your
stand.
your bare ass.
And
right?
what were you like just kind of like, I'm just not comfortable. But is there something else around it that you were like, I don't want my daughter to see that? Or was there something around it?
I mean, this was way before my kid. Like I was literally probably 22, 23.
Got it.
And I think at the time I was like, I'm not that girl. Like
Totally.
I'm building my career. Like I'm not, maybe I had a boyfriend at the time who influenced. I don't really remember the actual, but like, show your bare ass on the, I mean, it would still be out there. How would I feel now? I probably would. I think I would still feel the same where like I don't want Briar to be like, my mom was on the cover of fucking Rolling Stone. There's her bare ass.
You don't think that's changed at all? See, like now that I've gotten older, I feel more like
if they asked me to do it now, I'd be like, well, clearly I'll be fully naked. I'm just kidding.
But I feel like after you have kids, something changes about the preciousness of the way you hold your body.
I mean, yeah, like
For
breastfeeding, like whatever.
You're just like,
but yeah, here it is.
you know.
But also,
know.
with age too, you're like, you care less about like, the whatever your people's perception of you. You know?
Correct.
You
Right.
know?
Absolutely.
But you're older, so you're kind of like, I don't want to do that then. But I wish I had this perception when I was younger.
Right.
It's like a flip.
We don't get one. We don't ever
Do you
get on
both feel like
together.
I should have done it?
I mean, I have no skin in the game. I was just more like, I'm always interested as to like why someone makes a choice, right or wrong. I'm just more interested in the dynamics of what led them to the yes or the no.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's irrelevant the thing that they did. I'm more interested in the path that took them to each path.
Did you want to do it?
I did not want to show my ass. No.
Okay.
I would, be on the cover of Rolling Stone. All I think of is like almost
couldn't
famous.
they have been like, yeah, I want to do it on the cover of Rolling Stone? Is this?
I feel like it was non-negotiable because I think I would have done it if it was.
Meaning, like, can you be like, can I still be on the cover of Rolling Stone and not show my ass?
Right.
Or do y'all just want my ass on the cover of Rolling Stone?
It was a little like, why does it have to be so,
Did you propose those questions to
I'm
like
sure
your
I did.
publicist?
Yeah, for sure I would have.
And it came back as in like, oh, we're going to get
this was
somebody
what they
else.
wanted. Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know, I always was like, no nudity. Like, I remember I got a part and they're like, but you have to be topless. But it was like
It's
cheesy.
so hard for women.
Yeah.
I mean, it
it
wouldn't even be hard. I'd be like, it depends on the role, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like this role was like, eh. So I said no. But the truth is, inside, I never actually cared.
You thought you were supposed to
say no
and say no.
and care. And I didn't. I did a like topless photo shoot with this like cool photographer once I got sober, because I was like, the truth is, I want to do that. And I never let myself, because I was like trying to pretend.
Was it pretending, or was there a sense of control? Like, I want to be able to control this. Like, I want to be in control of.
I think it was that I wanted the people that represented me were saying no.
And
I
wanted to be like, I'm a respectable.
Yeah, like I'm respectable and all of that stuff. But the truth of the matter is, like, if it was really up to me, it wouldn't have really bothered me.
Right. I remember, like, I did a movie and there was a sex scene and the reps are all like, absolutely no nudity, whatever. And we go to shoot it and I have like pasties on or whatever. And in the middle of it, I'm like, why the fuck am I wearing this if we're doing this scene and like really in it? I was like about to be like, fuck it, take them off. In hindsight, probably better I didn't. I was really young, but like when you're in it, it just didn't matter.
Did the pasties really change? You know what
That's
I mean?
what I'm saying. It's like you're
once
basically
you're topless,
naked.
you're just putting on a different
A
nipple.
sticker on your
you know
nipple.
What I mean?
Sticker on your
a sticker
nipple.
on
It
your
is a
nipple.
little
You know what I mean?
bizarre,
But it's
Yeah.
not like well, glad she's clothed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or thank God she had those pasties on, because otherwise it'd have been uncomfortable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It did
like,
make it a little, it's like my clothes are off.
Yeah.
It was weird. Definitely a weird thing.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting thing to explore for women that men don't
Have to deal with.
have to
really.
deal with,
but
right?
nobody wants to see a dude's penis on the.
No,
It's, yeah.
I mean,
not
I mean,
there's
Right, so-
demographics for it.
I mean, maybe.
maybe.
But they're not, it's not the same. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for women in this business, not even just in that sort of realm or topic.
Yeah.
it's just hard.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For women. I mean, our industry is incredibly brutal to begin with.
Yeah.
For sure.
Being a woman, and it makes it, I think, just 10 times more. I don't know. So I'm sure all of these other factors that I'm probably not even thinking about, but other than it feels like, oh man, it's tough already, but God, it's so much tougher for a woman.
I think that's true.
100%.
Yeah.
Even talking about it now, I'm like, how many people are going to be like, you are so like wanting to take off your pasties? You know what I mean? But it's just like, there's a lot of judgment.
Or someone's going to be like, why didn't she show her ass on the Rolling Stones cover?
Or then there's going to be the ones that are like, good for you. It's like there's a voice for everything.
Totally. You can't, you know what I mean? Everybody's different. You can't.
So, and that's the thing I will say, like, even when you came and read for the play, I remember we were casting, it was me and Max, and we're like, we're going to produce a play. Turned out Scoop produced the play. But I remember we read all these guys and they were all supposed to be jocks and all of this. And then Scoop comes in so freaking uniquely Scoop and takes it.
Definitely not a jock.
Not a jock at all.
Go ahead. Sorry, let me interrupt.
But like your take on it was so much stronger than anyone that came in and tried to be a jock.
Well, the first pilot I ever did, they hired me as like a jock or a hunk. And I was like, dude, I got a pilot. Like I've been trying to get a TV show. I don't know, it must have been 25 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I did the pilot. Again, they asked me to show my ass. And the pilot, they were like, "Why don't you get out of bed and show your ass?" And I was like, "Huh?" Like, hold on.
Did you?
No, I was like, no. So the next, the pilot got picked up, but I didn't get picked. I got fired. And they're like, "We're not going with you." And it was either because I wouldn't show my ass, or it was because they were like, "This guy's not a hunk." Sorry, hunk. Hunk. That's what it was, a hunk. They were like,
oh my God.
"God, this guy, now that we got him on set and we have him here, not a hunk, not a jock. We need to get somebody else. He won't show his ass."
Oh my God.
I got replaced and I was like, so, I was bummed, or not bummed, confused. I was like, huh? And then, a little time goes by and I was like, oh, well, I'm not a jock. You know what I mean? So whatever you got to tell yourself,
I'm not a jock. That's what I tell myself every day. I'm just like, whatever happens, I'm not a jock.
What do you do?
What are you going to do?
Not a jock.
Not a jock. But
That play was
great.
There were so many great memories from that play.
You always talk about it.
And I feel so bad because you gave me a poster and I promised to give it back and I never found it.
The photograph.
Yeah.
We made the
poster out of it.
It didn't matter. I wanted the playbill from it and I got that.
Oh, you got it?
I still have it.
Oh, that's amazing.
The little playbill with the photograph.
No.
I got that photograph from like the person I was living at behind the Magic Castle. The neighbor.
Yeah.
Had it and they just shot Canal Street and I got the photograph and then I think I made a painting of the photograph and then we used the photograph to make the copy of the playbill.
The playbill.
Do you remember your apartment over
behind the Magic Castle?
Your dog?
Yeah.
Woody?
Woodley.
Your dog name? No.
Woodley.
That's what
I remember Woodley.
I remember Woodley.
Woodley did 16 years.
Oh, Woodley.
Yeah. Great dog. Carried me through some crazy times in my life.
Isn't it crazy that we were so young, like when we were all hanging out and all that we were doing in that fucking condo and going out and like.
So crazy.
It's so crazy.
When I tell Sosie, I'm like, oh, we used to do this and and this and that. She's always like, golly, like y'all lived like such an insane life. And I'm like, like not really, you know what I mean? But
it was a good time.
When you talk about it, we did, you know, it was crazy the amount of bars and clubs
but we feel like we did it, right?
We did it.
We did it.
We did it so well that we're okay with not doing it at
ever again.
At all.
You know? But God, our 20s in Hollywood, right when the Kodak Theater had just gotten finished and they had redone and all the bars and restaurants were coming up.
Yep.
And man, we had some great, crazy times.
Great.
What was I like Star Shoes and
Oh my
all
God.
of
Star
those
Shoes,
places.
Spider Club.
Yes.
Oh my
Le
God.
Don't.
Le Don't.
Don't.
It was Ledoux, but I
Yeah.
always called it Le Don't.
So
Don't.
we all did. Yeah, we were like Le Don't. And we'd say Nosifs to Josephs.
Josephs to Josephs. And also when the club or the bar would close, we'd all go to somebody's house
And hang
from
out.
2 to 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. And that was like routine
So fun.
every Wednesday and Thursday night. We didn't really, on Friday nights, I think we just went to people's houses or parties. We didn't really go out to the bars or the clubs.
Right.
I remember you'd always
week.
build the fire too.
Always
Of
had a
course,
fire.
scoop
Yeah.
the
My
fire.
whole life, I've always had
You've
a wood-burning
always-
fireplace.
Yeah.
Have to.
I have to. I
Have
can't.
to.
I mean,
I'm
I
with
remember
you.
we'd always be like, we'll just wait till Scoot gets here.
yes, because whenever I'd come over to y'all's place, I'd be like, all right, let's start a fire. I'd show up with logs. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need one of
We'd be like, Scoot's coming with logs,
Yeah.
whether we asked him to or not. You know?
Sosie's dad says Scoot's such a pyro. He came down to the farm in Texas and I like stack wood from like whatever there's trees and falling branches and I stack them all for the year. I mean, all year long. And then every year, like around Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's, I'll light them and like they're massive piles, like the size of a small school bus or something. And we just have these really amazing bonfires. And the time that he came down there, I think we had 2 or 3 of them going at once. And he was just like, oh my God, this is dangerous. You know?
That's so funny. Those things have stuck this whole time.
I
You've
loved-
been burning
yeah,
things
I've loved-
since day one.
Since Indian guides, like
Day
sticking
one.
the stick in there and pointing, hey, keep the sticks in the fire. And I was like, all right, you know what I mean? I love burning stuff. My daughter's like that. I let her have a little area where she can light candles and burn things in the back.
Oh,
Because I understand. I'm like, all right, if you're gonna, I know how much you want to burn things. So you can burn things, but you got to burn them here.
Yeah.
Because she was lighting candles in her room. And I was like, dude, you're going to burn down this house. Go outside. There's a piece of concrete here. You can burn whatever you want right here.
So
See?
interesting.
There you
She
go.
seems like she takes after you a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, she actually reminds me of my brother. My
Oh,
little
wow.
brother's, spitting image of my little brother, Uncle Ryan. She's
Aw.
so much
Wild.
like him, like
That's so
with her
cute.
spells and her making tea and like her mannerisms, like, you know what I mean? I look, and the older she gets, the more and more I'm like, you are just like my little brother.
That's really cute.
That's so cute.
She was so cute. We ran into you guys at a
I
farmer's
know.
market and she was
Yes.
like, Dad, that's like the 5th person you've known here. You were like the mayor of the farmer's
Wait, can we
market.
talk about what it's like to run into Scoot?
We
Yeah.
ran into each other the other day
We
at
did
the
the restaurant.
Yeah.
eating breakfast or whatever.
But let's talk about what it's
Yeah,
like.
please.
No, you tell us.
You tell it better.
Makes you feel young again.
No, it's not that. When I ran into you at Sky Zone, like a kid's bouncy house
Totally,
thing, right? And so when I see you, there's no like, oh hey, what are you doing here? It's like, oh, here you are. I knew you'd.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I knew.
Yeah.
I knew you'd be right here, right now, at this moment.
It's like as if we planned
as if we
meeting at
planned
this
to meet
place.
at
I
the-
feel the same way.
Yeah.
Because like when you left the restaurant the other day, the kid just the people I was meeting with at the time assume that we see each other weekly.
That's
You
what
know what
it
I
is.
mean? I
That's
ran
what
into
it
you
is.
3
That's what
times
it
in the
is.
last 3 years. You know what I mean?
know.
And they were like, oh, like you know, and I'm like, yeah, I haven't seen her in a while. He's like, oh, you haven't seen her in a while. Like, I'm like, no, like,
Yes.
you know?
That's exactly it.
And it's kind of like, oh, hey, how's it going? Da, 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 da. And it's something like we catch up. It's just kind of like,
No, it's
so
right
where's da, da, da? Where's how do we get Coca-Colas and pizza?
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just get into the nitty gritty. We don't even ask how each other's been.
No.
You know?
But that's the best kind of
Yeah.
relationships because
Totally.
Yes.
based on like, I don't know.
It's
We
a
were-
familiarity.
Yeah.
Totally.
You don't need to do the whole
No.
thing.
We hung out so much
Yeah.
so much.
in our 20s.
Especially, the
It's
age
like
we were,
having,
everything
I
else.
probably see y'all more than I see my sister.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But I told Rachel, I was like, yeah, it's like we said, meet at the 3rd table.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I ran into him and it was
It's
like, oh,
yeah, meet at this
all right.
booth at the farmer's market.
There he is again. oh, he's here. I just don't say, no, just if he sees us, we'll say something. If he doesn't, just let him go.
No, it's
No,
just
it's the
like
best.
as if we planned it, you know?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the best.
It's the best feeling ever. Aw.
Yeah, I remember Jeff being like, "Did you know Scoot was going to be here?" And I'm like,
He's like,
"No."
He's like, why are you so casual about it?
He
Then?
goes, well, it felt like y'all knew
Like,
it.
y'all had texted before.
Yeah,
Hey,
like
are
you
you got any
knew.
birthday
Yeah.
parties today at Sky Zone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. All right, I'll be there too. Try and be there around there.
That's so
That's the
funny.
best.
But
Oh.
Jeff appreciates that. He's like, I really like that because he doesn't want to do.
Oh, he doesn't want to do any
He
of
doesn't want
the
to do any of the fucking
formality or
formalities
like
or pleasantry. He doesn't
Yeah.
want to do it.
I hate
Not his-
formalities.
He hates it.
hate.
Yeah.
So
the
he's like,
bullshit
that I
question of,
really
how
like
are you
that.
doing?
Yeah, it's like really.
I fucking think I'm doing. I'm struggling like everybody else in this world. You know?
Where are the cookies? Is a better question.
Yeah. Where are
Yeah.
the cookies and where did you get that food? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
let's get to the shit that matters.
Where did you get that
100%.
food?
Oh my god, it's so
really
good.
good.
Oh,
Well, I'm really impressed that you guys have this whole podcast thing with the cameras and the thing and the
It looks
lights
kinda
and the
professional,
mics and
huh?
yeah, it looks super professional. Look at that board over there.
and the fact that I work it all now,
That's to be honest with you, when they're
Scary.
like, when Olivia was like,
it's scary.
"All right, no, Rachel's just got to set it up." I was like, "Wait, Rachel's setting it up?
I
You're
feel
not
the
setting it
same
up?"
way,
You know?
too.
And you're digging back through the back, going through the camera. I was like, "Oh, God, wow." All right, she's really on top of it. Setting up the cameras and test 1, 2, 3. Da, da, da. Yeah. Oh, let me troubleshoot this. What? Rachel's troubleshooting? I'm like,
so
let's hope
accurate.
that they're recording. You know what I
Did
mean?
we record?
Yeah, I checked in the middle because
Yeah.
sometimes focus is a little soft. Sometimes it's not recording the
That's
audio.
fine. It'd be good if I'm a little out of focus. there.
We're just blurry the whole time.
Fuck, it's there's a lot of pressure.
No,
I
it's
think we
great.
did
This
great,
is perfect. We are so happy you came.
I know.
I'm so happy I came too. I'm so happy that we did this. And, since moving back to California, to me, it feels the same like running into you guys.
Yeah.
There's a certain sense of like a
It's-
hominess.
yeah, it's
that,
home.
like it feels like, oh, okay, like it's just awesome to run into people that you knew so well from your past
Yeah.
I know.
and hang out. And, we all got kids now. It's
Yeah.
like, we're all grown up.
All
We're
grown
all
up.
But
grown
we're
up and
not
all the
really
same.
But not
grown up,
really.
Yeah, we still the same.
We
but
need to get all the kids together.
we should.
You know,
to
Briar's
this backyard.
10,
yeah.
yeah.
Backyard.
Briar's 10. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Henry
like,
will come over. He will not. He doesn't have a filter on him.
Great.
Love
Like,
it.
oh, geez, Dad, it's the backyard. Why don't we live in this house? Why don't we have a house like this?
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
He'll fall
That's so
in
cute.
perfectly with Elliot and Shepherd.
Oh yeah, we
Because
should.
they're 5 and
9 and
Let's
5.
definitely try and.
Let's do it. And we obviously love Sosie. She is, oh my God.
She's
awesome.
amazing.
Isn't she amazing?
God, what a blessing.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just so grateful and thankful to have her in my life and to have met her and
You guys are the cutest.
I gave her this candle that like sort of sums up. I'm like, I hope this smells better than the shit that I put you through. You know what I mean? And
Aw.
she keeps it in the kitchen. You know what I mean? She's just amazing. I'm
It's
so lucky.
cool.
Yeah.
It's very
Right when we
cool.
first met her, it's like she just makes perfect sense for you. It's
Yeah.
just like, yeah.
And she's
If I
Yes.
could have drawn and written
Yes.
the person,
like the perfect
there she
partner.
is.
yeah,
there you go.
It's just so she's so funny and so like entertaining on a daily basis. It's like just some of the things she does and says, and she's super smart, but like just some of the stuff, it's just like, oh, you're just a constant entertainment. You
Yeah.
know?
But that's how it should be, right?
Totally. Yeah. There's never a dull moment.
That's awesome.
We
yeah,
love it.
Yeah. She's she's just really funny. She's so funny. Yeah.
That's so cute.
Well, that's awesome.
Oh.
Last question before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
Why is there a barbell over there in the corner? Are you working
gonna-
on your?
I'm going to explain it. First of all, she is lifting weights.
You are.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's
My
not her
brother
barbell.
is training
Got
me.
it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's a heavy barbell. That's what
That's
it-
not
I
for
bring
her.
it
30
everywhere I
pounder?
go.
Oh.
It was weighing.
No, you don't.
It was weighing down the basketball hoop, in the driveway.
Mm.
And one day we needed a fourth mic, and we did a
I can't
makeshift
see how this
mic
connection
stand.
happens.
Totally, it already makes sense. And we needed to weigh.
We needed to rig it and then
We had to
put a
rig it, and
weight.
we needed a weight to hold it down. So that's why the barbell is
the
still in
microphone
here.
to keep it from
Mhm.
Exactly.
tipping over. Okay. Right.
Yeah, not as interesting a story.
No, I buy
probably.
it. I buy it. It's good. It's good.
But I don't know why I had those barbells in the first place. to even hold the
There's the
basketball
even
hoop.
bigger question there. Yeah.
Did you make those cookies?
No.
They're great.
Yeah,
Are they?
Whoever
They're
made
very
them.
good
Okay.
holiday cookies that
Yeah.
a mom.
Oh, someone made them. They're
Yes,
homemade.
they are homemade.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, okay, let me just back up there a little bit. They are homemade, but this one right here is the standard cookie that comes from Trader Joe's in the thing that has the icing on top. I can tell.
Oh, really?
But, yeah, these are all handmade. These are all
But
made.
the one you picked
But
was
this one right here,
Oh, it's a mix.
one of the moms snuck one in here that didn't have time to bake. And it was like when they brought them to the school and they did all this. Yes, one of the moms was like, oh, I don't have time. And so they just stuck in the ones from Trader Joe's or Ralph's. I don't remember, but we get them all the time. They're great.
I feel like Ralph's.
I heard of this
probably.
cookie thing and I was like, that would be fun. You know what we should do? We should do it next year.
Gingerbread.
No. What you do is everybody bakes cookies.
Yeah.
Right? Have you heard of this? So let's say for our holiday party next year, everybody bakes
For the white
cookies
Christmas holiday party.
for the white Christmas. And you bring the cookies to the party and then there's a bunch of tins and everybody takes some of the
Ooh,
cookies and makes tins and gives them away as their holiday
That's a great
gifts.
idea.
I love that.
Isn't that cute?
Mine would be the ones that like, I think Scoot got his from Trader
Ralph.
Joe's.
We know exactly where
I'm quite sure that these are the ones from Trader Joe's.
But we want
we'll
to
mix in a, DNA kit and
Yeah,
I mean, so good.
it's so good.
I'm terrified to do that DNA stuff.
Oh, you haven't done it.
No,
I haven't either. I don't.
What are
No.
you scared of?
I don't need to do
Them
it.
owning your
just like
Your DNA.
I don't know. I'm just like, I like the idea that like I've been told we're from Scottish and Irish descent, and
Yeah.
I buy that and believe that, and I'm good with that.
I buy it.
You
I
know?
think you are.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
someone was like, "Well, you have a little bit of," I don't know.
Something else.
Yeah, it would lead me to be like, "Well, wait, hold on," like da 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 da. So I'm happy with believing whatever I've been told.
I feel you. I
You
feel
know.
the same.
I don't think it really changed.
And you haven't done it either.
No.
I've been told I was Black Irish my whole life and not so much Black.
And you did it.
I did it. I'm mostly Irish, but there's not the Black Irish like I've been told my whole life.
Got it. And who told you that? Your mom?
My mom, she's like, I'm 100% Black Irish.
like how she's like so.
Oh, so
I'm
she's just
100%
100%
Black
Black
Irish.
Irish. And she's like, that's where you get your olive skin and your dark features because you're Irish. So it made sense.
When Henry did his thing for school of like where you're from and like your thing,
Yeah.
this was New York.
Oh,
And I was like, we've
What?
never lived in New York. None of us are from New York, and New York isn't like a place you descend from. You know what I mean? It's like it's just a city that you went to and liked. You know what I mean? And everyone else just was like, whatever, Thailand or like,
Yeah, Italy
these
and-
places in Italy.
yeah.
And it was New
New
York.
York. That's amazing.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We love you, Scoot. Thank you for
Awesome.
Yes,
coming.
Love
love
you
you
guys.
so
Thank y'all
much.
so much.
This was
This was really
awesome.
great.
It was the
This was really
best.
great.
So, how'd you feel about Scoot going in your closet?
It felt so comforting, if I'm being honest.
Do explain.
It was just like, of course, Scoot's going to go in my closet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And get my things. Not for a second. The house was a fucking mess when he got here. Not for a second was I like, oh my God. I was
Never.
like, because it's like family.
Yeah.
Scoot is one of the best people on this planet.
He's the shit.
He's the shit. We love him.
Love.
Love.
He's so funny.
He's really funny.
It's like,
We
oh,
love
did
funny.
you take down this wall?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
know.
like-
He really just gets into it.
Yeah.
He I was saying he was funny, and we love funny.
Yeah. We really
Funny,
love funny.
might even be like number one for us.
How do you feel about it in all areas? Is it just in relationships, friendships? How
No,
do you,
all areas so they have to be funny.
so even
get
like
to
your
a
kid's
level-
teacher?
Well, I'm not gonna have like a relationship with the teacher, like a close relationship. I mean, you could. I haven't as of yet. I've liked all of her teachers so much. Her second grade teacher was Briar and I, both of our favorite. But
do you want your accountant to be funny?
I mean, he can be funny.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. Like, I really think, because like I've done a list before, you know, like things you look for in a person.
Yeah.
Usually it's romantically when you write a list like that. And I think funny is always number one.
What are some other things that are on your list? What's on your list? What are negotiables and what are non-negotiables?
Ooh. See, I haven't done that like later in life.
You haven't?
I don't think so.
We should do a list.
We should do a list.
Yeah.
Funny. Supportive. Not financially. Like, no, like, yes, hold my vagina.
Wait. What? Rachel.
I'm
Okay,
sorry, I know.
Keep going.
Okay. Funny, supportive, like in anything you want to do, like they're super cheerleader supportive.
Okay.
In that way. Get it?
I totally get it.
Okay.
Supportive.
Funny.
Mm-hmm.
I do like, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a requirement, but I do like romantic, like randomly, like not randomly, but I do like flowers, like unexpected is a nice thing.
You're allowed to like romantic.
But I don't like overly.
You don't want to be love bombed, but
No.
a little bit of romance is
Yeah.
okay. That's nice.
Yes, I do like those things.
Okay, so
Like thoughtfulness. I love thoughtfulness and consideration.
this is great. This is great. So you like someone that's supportive, funny, thoughtful, and romantic. What else?
But also, well, someone that can make fun of me, very important. But like also has like a backbone where I can't get away with shit.
Okay, so you want someone that has personal integrity.
Yeah, you just interpret my things for me.
I'm like, so what you're saying is,
Yes.
what else?
Here's something I squabble with, if you will.
Do you put looks on there?
I don't think I have put looks on there. I do like a good-looking guy is always a plus, but doesn't have to be if like everything. This is the thing. On paper, you could first look at someone and be like, that's not conventionally good-looking. But then like you talk to someone for a while or whatever, and you're like, oh, you're really good-looking. So you can't say just like good-looking. I feel like that is either like, you know, it's all relative.
Right, but if you're making your ideal list,
Does he have to be good-looking?
not does he have to be, would you want him to be? It's your list. And then we're going to see what's negotiable and what's not.
You
know-
love this right now.
It's so fucking fun. This is my love language.
I know. I think my love language, like not mine, but like what I do, like not for me.
For me.
No, I think like I love giving gifts so much.
I know.
It brings me such joy.
So you want someone that likes to receive gifts?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm not letting you get out of this alive.
This is annoying.
I know. It's so fun.
What were we on?
So far we have funny, supportive, thoughtful, romantic,
Mm-hmm.
and has a backbone. Yeah.
I want to know your list, even though you're married.
So on my original list
Mhm.
was funny,
Mhm.
honest,
Mm.
trustworthy.
Those are good. I should have those.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
Those are really good.
Mhm.
Funny, honest, trustworthy, spiritual was on there for me. Someone that has like a bigger
Mhm.
faith in something. Kind, has good style, sober. I had all those things on my list, and I remember I was like, "Ooh,
Some of
gonna
those
have to
aren't there. You
give
have to-
some of
yeah.
those up." Like
Mhm.
I didn't really dig Jeff's style. He wasn't sober when I met him,
Mhm.
and interestingly enough, he's changed now into some of the things that were on my list.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So now he is sober.
Mhm.
And now I don't mind his style because he's gotten he's like found more of like who he is.
Mm-hmm.
He's not like styly like I thought I wanted.
Right.
But now I don't even really care about that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about a guy with style?
There's so many different versions of style.
Right. But would that be on, I didn't hear that on your list. Like that was on my list. I really liked it.
It's not, I like it. It's attractive to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's on my list, but it's definitely something I'm attracted to. So it's like, I feel like there's like a middle list.
Well, those are your negotiables.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, well, I can work with that because I can actually help him pick out his clothes.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't make him honest. Right?
No, honest is very important. Like loyal is very important.
Loyal, honest.
Yeah, you want to feel safe, you know?
Yeah. And
I get that confused though, because I've been in situations where I feel super safe and they were the most unsafe.
because that's the old programming.
Mm.
Because comfort zone, whether it's good or bad, feels safe.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be an incredibly unsafe situation, but if your nervous system is wired to be familiar with it, it'll go, okay, we're safe here. We don't need to move. This is familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I think actual honesty cannot feel safe.
Right. Totally. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. I felt that so hard.
Yeah.
You don't like it.
Honesty didn't feel safe to me forever.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Yeah. I'm still working on that myself.
It's a hard one.
Mhm.
Communicative. I think that's a really good one.
It's important as shit.
But even if a man had all those fucking amazing qualities, like supportive, communicative, honest, amazing, blah, 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 and he's not funny, it's
not going to work.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
You have to have some sort of wit.
You need to get it.
You need to get it. Because life is hard.
Yeah.
You
Sometimes
know?
my jokes can come across mean.
That's why I love you.
But I've had guys be like, why are you so mean? Like, your jokes are mean. And then I've had guys fucking die,
Yeah.
like laughing. And I'm like, you get it.
The guy who thinks it's mean isn't funny.
Right.
Because,
Accurate.
yeah, I like that cutting kind of sarcasm.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, I get that. That's a preference.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was really sarcastic.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom used to say that sarcasm is the last attempt at an exhausted intellect.
Mm.
And I was like, woo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but growing up with that, if someone wasn't that way, I was like,
Yeah, I'm the same.
yeah.
And I wonder where it comes from. Like, my pop-pop was very funny, like always making jokes, you know? My brother's funny.
Very funny.
Very funny.
Do you find your dad funny?
Yeah, he like gets the funny because my sisters are really funny, and it's definitely from my dad's side. Not to say that Heather isn't funny, but I think like that gene of like the type of humor they have is the same as mine. So it's from that side. You know what I mean?
Do you think your mom's funny?
Yes. My mom's I Love Lucy funny.
Yeah. She's
You know?
funny. I find my mom hilarious.
Yes.
She's fucking funny.
She's fucking funny.
My brother's funny.
Your brother is funny. Both of
He
us
is.
have funny
Yeah.
older brothers that tortured us.
Yeah.
Same.
So where do you think you got it?
Being funny.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm witty funny.
Okay.
You're supposed to say, yeah, you are.
Okay. How does that feel?
I don't know where it comes from, but I know my family is funny.
Okay.
You know your family's funny.
I think they're funny.
Yeah.
But, does everybody think their family's funny?
No,
No.
not everybody's family's funny.
We know that, but do they know
I
that?
don't know. It's interesting. We should take a poll.
We should. Leah's family's funny.
Yeah. Do you think Rob thinks his family's funny?
No.
Should we ask him? Do you
Yeah.
think he'd answer if I called him right now?
Let's see.
Let's see. Okay. I bet you he can't answer.
Rob thinks he's funny. Rob is a weasel womp.
Why do I have my headset on?
I don't know.
Hello?
Oh, you answered.
I sure did. Why wouldn't I answer?
You're
Rob,
on live.
You're on live. Rob, do you think your family's funny?
In what sense?
Ha ha.
Like, ha funny. Do you think they're funny?
As a collective or individuals?
I mean, do you think anyone...
Kevin's funny.
No, not your... No, like your family, like your childhood, like your not your family now. Like your family growing up.
No.
I knew he was going to say that.
Yep, Olivia said you would say that.
Yeah, they're not funny.
Okay.
That's funny.
That was funny. Yeah.
But your family now, Cal is funny.
Cal's funny. Vinny's some funny stuff. Natalie can be funny. Much more laughter and humor. Our lives from when I was a child.
Aww. Okay. We appreciate you. We miss you over here. Thanks for popping in.
No problem.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. You know what's funny?
What?
Elliot.
Elliot's very funny.
He gets the beat.
He gets the beat.
It's
100%.
so wild.
I know. He really does.
It's since he was a baby, I feel like he got it. He would laugh at things that I'm like, how do you know that's funny?
He just knew. I agree.
Shepard is fucking hilarious.
Is funny. What did he say? What the hell's she doing, man?
Well, tell them why he said.
Oh,
what? He said, "What the hell's she doing, man?"
There was an explicit photo of myself on Olivia's phone. That's all I'll say.
Mm-hmm. What was it?
No.
Well,
No.
He did ask if it was me first.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
He said, "Is that you?" I said, "No, that's Ray Ray."
I was playing a joke and dressed up in a funny costume, but it was like kind of explicit.
Yeah, and accidentally opened it in front of Shepard. And he goes, "What the hell's she doing, man?"
It's so good.
It's so good.
So good. Scoot is funny.
So funny.
So funny.
Johnny's funny. Johnny Woojack is
funny.
Really funny.
He's really funny.
Yeah.
I can think of people who are not funny.
But we can't say that.
No.
Because that's mean-spirited.
It's mean. And we're not mean-spirited in that way.
In what way aren't we?
With our jokes sometimes.
That's not mean-spirited.
Not mean-spirited.
You're not mean-spirited.
It's just people who can't take a joke.
That's silly.
Silly.
Silly gooses. Did I tell you about that?
What?
Elliot was saying, I was like, he was having some issues with some dynamics at school. And I said, just go hang out with other people. Like, you have plenty of other friends. Just go hang out with them. And he goes, sometimes when I do that, I just feel like a silly goose. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, that's the only way I can put it. I just feel like such a silly goose. Like a cringe, silly goose. And I was like, oh my God, I get that feeling so much.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like a cringe, silly goose?
Every day. I saw somebody say, and I know this is after Christmas, but instead of elf on the shelf, is it silly goose on the loose? And it's like a goose that you just plop around the house. No, it's funny.
That's Elliot.
Yeah.
He's a silly goose on the loose.
Silly goose on the loose. Okay, did we finish our lists?
Okay, so what are the non-negotiables and what are the negotiables?
I don't know. Funny is kind of non-negotiable.
I understand.
They need to be funny. Or laugh at my funny.
And they need to be...
What? Honest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trustworthy.
Trustworthy is important.
Honest.
Yeah. And incredibly good looking.
Ridiculously good looking.
No, but I do like shoes.
It's a problem.
Yeah. Like a manly boot is really good. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I used to be so into guys with style that it was almost weird.
Yeah.
It was like, why? Like, what was that?
I know. And certain like it has to be the certain type of sneaker, you know?
What do you think that is? Because
I don't know.
Is it something that it's like you feel like they know something? Like why? Who
Maybe
cares?
it's like a confidence thing and we liked confident dudes growing up.
But if a guy walked in confident as fuck in the wrong shoes, it wouldn't have worked in those days, like in my younger days. It wouldn't matter how confident he was.
We died for a thermal under a t-shirt.
The best.
Died.
Dead in the water. There was this one time, my friend Samantha, you know, she came home, like we were all like these girls and we were hanging out and she was like, oh my God, I just saw the finest guy. Like he was so hot. He was like wearing a thermal with a t-shirt and like cute. And we were like, oh my God, where'd you see him? And she's like, across the street from my old house. Like, I don't know if he lives there or whatever. Me and my friend Jenna then did not tell Samantha. We made signs for a lost dog and went and knocked on doors and said that our dog was lost and we found him. And we knocked on the door and he opened with his thermal t-shirt. And we were like, we're looking for our dog, Lucky. And he was like, I didn't see your dog, but like, let me get your number. Oh yeah, we became really good friends with him.
What?
Yes.
Who?
His name was Ryan.
Huh.
Yeah.
Who hooked up with him?
Maybe everyone. It was like him and his brothers. It was like this whole like pack of guys. And we were just like, Samantha got so mad when she found out we did that.
Because she wasn't part of...
We did it behind her back.
I know, but like she didn't hang out with him?
I think she ended up hanging out with him and hooking up with him.
Okay. So you did her a favor.
Yeah.
She was so pissed. You made lost dog signs.
And we said our dog's name was Lucky. Yeah.
That's Olivia, folks.
Hey, it worked.
Listen, that's just a tribute like to you go after what you want in life.
Yeah. If you don't know how to get it, you knock on doors.
You make it happen.
You make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what Max said about Scoot, that he would call him, pretend he was his own agent.
Yep. You got to make things happen.
Yeah.
All right. On that note.
See ya.
See ya.